What is up, everybody, and welcome to the 777 podcast. This week featuring none other than the one, the only, MrWoofless. What's up, my man? How have you been doing?
Surviving. Honestly, jet lag.
Looks like you've been living, dude.
Yeah,
Surviving.
living. Yeah, surviving, living. I mean, same thing, dude. Yeah, jet lagged, but here regardless. Thanks for having
we
me,
super
all that
appreciate
jazz.
you being on, even though you are jet lagged and tired and everything. That's super cool that you're able to have that energy for us. I appreciate that a lot.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Like 20 minutes.
See how lively. How lively.
Yeah. Just go get an espresso and just chug it down. Just keep it going.
I got my machine right here. Maybe I'll smash it. That's not the way to deal with jet lag, though. If you can't fake it, You gotta just go to bed. You gotta stay up. No caffeine. No Red Bulls at 9:30 p.m. That's just not a good idea.
I completely have no idea how to deal with jet lag. When I was in Japan, I landed there and was like, all right, let's go. And then I was tired, and then I woke up at 5 a.m. and I'm like, how the fuck is this a thing? What?
Yeah.
How do people do this?
Yeah.
I did 3 a.m. because I got back from Australia. It was last week, right? So I totally screwed you over because I was supposed to be the guest. I was like, oh, I'm flying in. There's no way I'm gonna. I got in at 5.
No. That was completely understandable. That's just there's no I'm not gonna make you.
Oh, is that what happened? I never actually got the story why they got swapped, but I guess
because I wasn't supposed to come back to Toronto, and then I came back to Toronto, and then I was flying on the Tuesday, and I was like, I landed at 6. I'm gonna get home at 7:30, and then I would have had to have done the podcast after a 21-hour flight, and I was like, no chance. And since then, I've woken up every morning at 3 in the morning. It's brutal. So it's fun. Yeah.
No, for sure, man. It's all thanks to Pete, who's just super bossing up, wanted to come on the podcast literally last minute. I think it was a day before or something. I was like, Pete, you want to just join the podcast? Hop on. He's like, oh man, that's sick. I didn't even know you were doing a podcast. Let's go. Let's hit it. And I'm like, hell yeah. And it turned out to be
reliable Pete, dude. Reliable Pete.
Super reliable Pete. Yeah, he's awesome.
Pete was cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Now, first things first, this guy in chat kind of spamming a bit, but we'll address it at first just because we've been talking about it in some of our other podcasts. Oilerman wants to know, why did you get mad at Zach for building a giant dick in Battle Dome? And I think this is self-explanatory.
We're going right into it.
He wants to hear it straight from the source. So
fair enough.
Because we've been over this, we already know.
Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it.
Wait, from me?
Yeah. We want to know why you were angry at it because I already told them
the other perspective.
Yeah, because you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. I don't think it was really. Was it really me that was mad? I remember all of us being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot
I remember
of people,
everyone was mad.
I think he sort of isolated you and just wanted to know why you in particular were angry at that.
Okay, because I don't think I was a proponent of this full rage towards him. I think, but at the end of the day, I mean, I definitely remember. I fucking remember that.
Man.
You have to understand that us and the whole crew were standing at the precipice of this insanity that was the growth of Minecraft, and when you're there and you're looking at this potential boom, a penis is scary. It's not it's a scary. You're oh my god, it's all going down. This was this was back in the day where it was shit, if we get if this blows up or gets caught up and child-friendly Minecraft YouTubers, show big, enormous penis in video. Yeah, so I think all of us were yeah, we can't have this, man. We can't have this. No penises, they gotta go. And then all drawers and builders of penises, they gotta go. Yeah, that's why.
Oh man, that was one of the most Zach things I've ever seen. Of just completely
it wasn't just a penis, though.
Yeah,
it was more than just a penis. It was a very explicit penis that was in its peak reproductive mode.
It was currently ejaculating.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, we got spooked by the penis for sure, because we're not not a surprise, I don't think.
Oh yeah, no, not a surprise for sure. And
Yeah.
it's like it wasn't you in particular that was angry. It was everybody.
It was
Like,
everyone.
Right.
how many people did we have there? Like, it was like, this is this cool game mode that we have, Battle Dome. We're gonna show it off, and hopefully we can have this like become a trend. You know, everybody wants to play Battle Dome. Everyone wants to do this. I think we had like Captain Sparkles. I think we had Adam. Like, literally, like as big of names as you can think of were in that. And then just this giant dick appears, and we're like, what the fuck?
Like today, that would have smashed. Like today,
Yeah.
that's actually the audience for Minecraft right now. Like that would have done really
For
well.
sure.
But
Is everybody
back then-
grew up. Everybody grew up, right? So
Yeah, back then we were like, "Ugh."
It's like a big yikes. Was it immediate? Like when everyone kind of went the route of Minecraft, because that was kind of after me. Was it immediate? Like, cool, we're playing Minecraft, and like, let's keep it PG from the get go, or was that sort of like, let's do Minecraft and ease? We realized that it ease into. Like, what was that transition like?
Oh shit.
You know
That's
what I
a
mean?
good question. Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't. Shit. I don't actually know. I think it was immediate. I think it was. There was a leeway, at least for my channel, where the type of content I made was a slightly more non PG. And like Matt, you were in an episode of that, right? Like we did like Moocraft. I think it was called. You're thinking Minecraft, no, but I did a couple episodes of something completely different. We were like building like a cow farm or something.
Well, we did do Minecraft together though.
Yeah,
like, you definitely
we did
were on
Minecraft,
that
but I
server.
called it Moocraft. Yeah, and like we did a series together, and we were just like swearing, and I was like building, I think, a cow farm or a wheat
and like
farm.
there was a roller coaster. Remember, like
Yeah, all that bit, and then I think we started recording with like the Jolly Old Brits and losing some of the older people. Like we lost like Dard, who kind of stepped away, and then it kind of turned more into like, if you kind of have fluffy, exciting music and speak a little bit more kind of joy and jolly, then you're going to get more viewers. So we were like, okay, this seems like the natural trend. So yeah, I think it was pretty instant, but not as instant as like a conversation being like, we are going PG. It was just kind of like people realizing like, hey, if you kind of go with this flow, then YouTube likes it. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't like before I press record, here are the boundaries. Like it was very much just.
No.
Right.
It was very gradual, like the whole transition into like the PG thing, because it really did wind up in the algorithms like way better than just if you were swearing all the time. And I remember the first video I ever posted on my channel was a Minecraft Let's Play, and like that was like back in 2010 or something, 2011. I was filming on my potato PC and like getting 10 frames a second with the most small render distance ever, but I really wanted to film a Minecraft video because I loved that game. I was like, this game's so cool. Like you could just do whatever you want in it. You could like it's like a sandbox game. It's like a sandbox game with like single player creative aspects, and you can even play multiplayer. And it was awesome. And just switching over to like, even like you had to get a good PC to actually film that. So I had to have a lot of
bad. It was optimized so poorly.
Oh yeah, you needed like a gaming PC to run Minecraft.
Still is,
like, it's still pretty bad, but it's not nearly as bad as it used to be.
It's crazy how like on the surface, it's like, how can this be that unoptimized? Like actually, based on like how much it actually takes to just generate at least what's around you, right? You talk about render distance, of course, but like
if you ever dabbled in
lot.
coding, it like makes a lot of sense what they like how they unoptimized everything. Like they just used like massive like classes with like all of these variables in them that didn't need to be there, and like just everything about it was just so clunky. Like one block had so much memory that it was using, and like none of it was optimized. It was terrible. Like there wasn't like the way that you could X-ray to see different blocks. Like that was like the first step in optimizing. It was so weird that like people were modding the game so that they could cheat, and like X-ray, the thing that made all the blocks disappear, was what made the game run faster. And it's like, oh shit, let's take that and let's put it in the actual code, except that have the first layer be visible to the player, and like just stuff like that.
Java is a weird beast for sure. Like the optimization schedule for making Java games is yeah, it's really, 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 really hard. But also it's hard, but then you can also do some crazy shit. You can do some like absurd optimizations, like what like Optifine does.
Yeah, Optifine's
But
insane.
it's a mess. It's a real mess to get there, and the source code of Minecraft is not built for optimization in like the Java edition. Like you go back to like 1.710, it's just not wasn't built for frames.
Hey,
That's for
Q
sure.
Lavier, thanks for the $10. Hi from a very tired European. Thanks, man. Thanks for tuning into the
Mood.
stream for so late. That's
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, mood. I know what
Yeah,
you
big
mean.
man.
I've got a little bit of those tired vibes myself. This is gonna be a very laid back podcast for everyone who's ready for like some chill vibes.
We're gonna go. Let's go crazy, dude.
We're going balls deep.
Yeah, let's
Crazy.
let's
All
get
right,
wild.
I'm gonna
So-
make some coffee. Just Reach, guys, the best game that's ever been made. It
Halo
came
Reach is
out.
on Steam. Chat.
Yeah,
It's there.
yeah, it's
If you're not
there.
playing Halo Reach, you're fucking.
Yeah, you're fucking up. That's honestly
I gotta
such
play
an
it.
amazing game.
It
I gotta
plays
play it.
so well.
Oh,
it
yeah. I
gotta get
feels
it on that.
so good.
PC to
Like,
console. What are you using? Are you using a
Mouse and keyboard? Controller?
A remote, dude?
controller?
In
Using
manette?
a remote, dude. You have a little Halo.
A clicker,
Yeah,
a bobber.
Um,
I'm using a mouse and keyboard, but that's
Yeah.
because I'm trying to wean myself to be, aside from like third-person action games like Dark Souls and like stuff like that. I'm trying to be pretty much just mouse and keyboard these days. Because when I made the transition from console to PC, it was to play League. Like all my friends,
Console
like,
plebeians, PC
I know.
master race.
This
Let's
was
go
like-
drama.
this was like 2013, 2014. I pretty much just like had consoles. I never had a PC. And like all my friends stopped playing on console, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm just sitting here by myself, like twiddling my thumbs that they're all they all got a PC, and they're all playing League, and I was like, well, fuck, I either need to learn how to play this game I know nothing about, or sitting here and be by myself. So a buddy of mine helped me like build a hand-me-down PC from his old shit, and then I started playing from there, and like that was my first real experience with mouse and keyboard was playing League. Like, cause I played Diablo 3, the console version with stick, right? That's how I first played Diablo. Right,
Yeah, that
like,
doesn't seem too bad. That doesn't seem too
Right.
bad.
but it was the same. That was the closest like parallel I had because I also played Smite, which is like a poor man's MOBA, but it's like third-person action MOBA on the console. So it's kind of like taking what I knew from Smite's like overall idea and then Diablo's perspective, and learning how to do that with mouse and keyboard took for fucking ever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
eventually I got it.
Yeah, my concern with Reach is just that I do feel like a game does get built with the kind of understanding of what hardware is going to be used. So if you're building Halo, like when they were building Halo originally, and Halo Reach was still
Well, Combat
Bungie
Evolved
was
was a
in
PC game
for-
to start.
Combat Evolved was a PC game to start, yeah. But I mean, that was we're talking like was it really a
decade apart.
PC? Yeah, and I would actually argue that it wasn't really even a PC game to start because I feel like it played like a console game because you had these like enormous FOVs on these really small screens with like minimal mouse movement, which kind of translated really well to console. So the rest of the other games were built under that context. When if you look at like other first-person shooters now, like Apex and Legends, you have wide FOV, big movement, lots of visual engagement on your screen because the mouse and keyboard lends itself to quick movement and the ability to scan those areas. When Halo Combat Evolved OG, you got like Blood Gulch, and it was like A, B, and it was like that's your
It's
vision.
a
Yeah,
lane.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's
And
a
you just,
straight
right?
you just
So
blast
it's
each
like,
other, and that's it.
You can play that on like 20 FPS on a small like
CRT,
you know,
like
exactly
yeah.
like and then console kind of worked on that way. So the rest of the games I think were built under that kind of context where it's like the game designers are testing the game with a controller. They're not playing PC and mouse. So how does it translate to PC and mouse? Mouse and keyboard. I don't know.
I
give you a
do
little
know.
bit
I
on
do
that.
know actually, and I haven't
Yeah.
played it because there was a game mode. There's a mod, not a game mode, but a game mod that someone created called El Dorado, and El Dorado was a project that these guys made where they basically ported Halo 3 to PC pretty much flawlessly. Like I remember playing that with my buddies, and it was like insane. Like it was like legit amazing graphics, ran so well. The game modes were basically just people making lobbies. So like the people who knew how to make lobbies found like the best game mode that held retention, and like they kept people wanting to play, and they just ran those over and over again. It was like a cycle of game modes with like shoddy shotguns, 8v8, and like random weapons, like 10v10 or something. Like it was crazy, and it was amazing. It ran so well, and that was Halo 3. The thing about Halo Reach is that I agree with you that the game is sort of slower paced in the sense where it's very like it's like aim based, very skill based, and how you're supposed to like position yourself and actually shoot and everything. But Halo Reach was like the first game for the Halo series to actually break away from that, because of the way that they introduced like a lot of the mobility aspects of like jetpacks and sprinting. So like all of that being ported to a PC is just like, I think that giving a PC player all that control, we're going to start to see like a lot of crazy clips coming out of that game. And like just all the content that people are going to make on that game. Hopefully, I think that it would be sick. But like, we'll have to see how it stands the test of time, because once again, they're going to be releasing all the rest of the anthology, which we'll have to see which one's the most popular. But I think that Reach would be pretty good.
I feel like it's going to be for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like this generation remembers that one the most fondly. Because like I feel like that was majority of people around our age's introduction to like, this is what multiplayer and like lobbies could be. Because the original Xbox obviously had Halo 2, and there was Xbox Live on the original Xbox, but most of us had dial-up, right? A lot of us didn't have the luxury around that time of great internet on the original Xbox for original Xbox Live, right? Our first experience was like the 360. Everybody's internet got a little bit better. The console was better. Like I feel like 3 is the one, like at least around our age, that most people remember probably the most fondly of like their first experience of like stepping onto the multiplayer like scene, almost like stepping onto the maps, doing all that.
Yeah, like I've never played Halo 1 or 2 online, and like Halo 3 was really like the first mainstream experience where everybody just sort of got it, like, oh,
every kid you knew,
and it's that or it's Call of Duty. And like even then, Call of Duty was like the teenage game, like that's the game that teenagers and like older guys played, and like Halo was like more the kid game that people played. There wasn't any kid alternative. There wasn't a Fortnite. There wasn't like a Minecraft for people to play. If you had an Xbox, you were playing Halo 3. It didn't matter that it was 18 plus. Didn't matter how violent it was. You just got used to it, and that was it. And
alien blood, man.
Yeah.
Right.
When I worked at GameStop, Halo in general was one of the only like M-rated games like strict parents would let their kids get that was rated M, because like the dudes are in suits of armor, and like if you see blood, it's like purple, like you're killing aliens. To where it was the only one that like all the strict parents gave a pass on, because it wasn't like grotesque. It wasn't No Russian for Mod 2, right? Like,
yeah.
it was very like, you can understand it. You're not seeing limbs get hacked off and like that.
Right.
But probably helped that those games were out like when Grand Theft Auto first started coming out, and it was like, don't buy Grand Theft Auto for your kids, and they were like, well, I gotta buy them some game. It's like, well, this one looks all right. It's aliens.
Yeah.
Right. It's colorful too, right?
Yeah.
Like it's bright. Like it looks very much like that.
And then people are just like teabagging in games.
And like swearing over the mic like crazy,
just fucking yelling at each other over
my God,
Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto was actually like super nice. It's like, hey man, you need some cash for a new car? And then Halo, it's like, eat fucking shit.
Yeah. And like all the hackers are on there giving free money drops to everybody. It's like, oh yeah, here you go, guys, get all this cash, come in here, dude.
Just get a commission on.
It's like, yeah, dude, here's $1 million. Who cares? Do you guys ever know about like the most violent video game that ever was made, and it was like actually needed to be pulled off the shelves, and it needed to be remade because it was like so controversial, and it lost Nintendo a deal with McDonald's?
Damn.
Yeah. That is so specific. Wait,
no. It's Manhunt.
Oh, was it? I was about to say it's fucking Manhunt.
It's Manhunt. The original.
Wait, like that? Yeah, did they remake that recently?
They may have remade it recently, but when the Wii was first, like when it first came out, like the first year that it came out, they released a game called Manhunt. And I think that it may have been a sequel to an earlier version of Manhunt, but it was like essentially a murder simulator. Like it was fucked up. Like it was like you had your sticks and everything, and like the video on screen was like literally people getting sawed in half, and like you had to saw them in half like that with your remote, and people were like freaked out like crazy about this, and it was so violent that they were in works with McDonald's for a deal to have like Mario toys in McDonald's Happy Meals and like all this stuff, but they're like, oh shit, this game is so violent that we literally don't want to be associated with you guys anymore if you're going to be putting shit like this on your titles and like in your games and stuff. This is fucked up. No, we're out. And it lost them a deal with that, and they pulled it off the shelf and they remade the whole thing, and there was only like a few copies that like made it to reviewers that like have ever seen the light of day that were like not the censored versions, where it's like when you kill them, it's like it points to like a wall or something, and you can see like the shadow of them dying, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's some blood, but you don't see like somebody's head being sawed off or anything. And like that was like the new age, just crazy shit that just lost them all of their sponsorships with McDonald's. Rip Nintendo.
I remember learning about that from X-Play, like on G4 back in the day, because they had like a top 5 like.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's where I learned
X-Play,
that from.
Dude. Fucking what is it called? Like what was that network called?
It was G4 is what it was called.
Yeah, G4. What happened to that?
Well, they kind of went under because they were making content that they could have made on the internet, but big budget broadcast, and when everybody on the internet and a microphone and a camera just started doing the same shit for almost no, like, there was no production cost for it.
Yeah.
Nobody was watching them anymore because everyone was watching YouTubers and streamers, and like they couldn't compete for a network slot with just people putting stuff up on the internet.
For sure.
That was the big reason why G4 fell. Dude, I miss it, dude, because there was Ninja Warrior.
There's a whole bunch of stuff like X-Play reviews on the run,
Attack of the Show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like all that.
X-Play wanted me like X-Play was what got me into Resident Evil 4 when I was a kid. I was like,
oh really?
I was watching an X-Play episode, and like they were just like, here's our walkthrough of the entire game of Resident Evil 4, and we're like, what? I'm like, what? How do they do this in like 20 minutes? Like, what the hell is this? And they're like, yeah, you kill the guy with the chainsaw, and then you kill Salazar, and it's like, what the fuck? That's if you play the game, there's no correlation in that. Like, it's such a long distance between them. But like they did have like a decent amount of content that filled up between when you first started the game and like when it ended. But there was such a continuity fail with it. Like they just skipped so much stuff. And I was like, oh, I really want to play this game. It looks sick. And it, like they made it like all cool. It's like, oh yeah, we got this music in the background. It never really gave you the full experience of playing the game.
Yeah, because they'd get sued.
Well, no, but like, no, not that they would get sued. It's just that like they need to have production put in. Like they need to have the graphics. They need to have the jump cuts, the music, their own stuff, their own commentary over it. Just because like they got to make it their own show. It's not just like a let's play that they're doing. And what happened was I went out and I said to my dad, I was like, can you get me this game? And he's like, yeah, I mean, sure. Like, are you ready to play a game like this? Pretty like, it's like pretty violent, right? It's Resident Evil. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's just like Call of Duty, you know? Like, it's just like whatever.
It's like Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's like you just shoot zombies. Like, whatever.
It'll be easy, dude. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just you shoot zombies, like whatever. So he goes, he gets it for me, brings it back. Keep in mind, I'm like 12 years old, like literally like 12 or 13. And like I was not ready for that at all. It was like the scariest shit I ever played because I wasn't ready for the experience of the game where it's just there's no sound. It's just fucking your footsteps, the wind, and like a crow. And I'm there and I'm like, why is this so dead? Like, why is this nothing's happening? And then the second like one person moves, this crazy music comes in like, and it's like, I'm gonna fucking die. I had nightmares that night. I played the game for like an hour. I didn't touch it for like a year. I had to give it a distance. Like I was so scared. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Did you ever play a Resident Evil before that?
No, never. I had never played like a.
Confused as shit how like the way you turn and you have to stop and aim was like.
Yeah, I was like, I can't move. You can't run from them. You literally have to stand your ground and shoot them. And when you're a little kid and you're scared, you can't do that. You can't aim. You just die a million times, and it's terrifying.
Dude, RE4 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
I've played through it so many times. Like,
yeah, I did a let's play of it.
Did you really?
Yeah, full games, front to back.
What?
Yeah, it was awesome.
I started streaming it, then I moved on to something else because not too many people watch. But now part of me wants to go back and finish streaming because I haven't played it so long.
Yeah. Yo, speaking of new games, Rob.
Oh.
Rob. What do you think of Hytale? and like the way that they're like developing the game and like trying to make it so that it's going to be like a competitor to Minecraft, and like the
Oh,
like
here we go.
the whole aspect
time.
of it just being like just sort of create your own game, and it's trying to be like super friendly to everybody, and like you don't need coding experience to get into creating your own game modes and everything like that. Like what, like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like how much of Hytale do you know? More than me probably. Like who knows? Like more than me, less than me. Like I don't know that much. I know what Mitch has told me.
Yeah. I'm keen, man. I'm keen. I'm yeah, super super excited about it. I think the Hypixel, Simon is he's super talented. Really brilliant, always has been.
Yeah.
He was making Minecraft maps way back in the day, like I learned them, like Etha would play them. We for sure have played them,
For
like
sure. Yeah, absolutely. We
uh,
played all of his Hunger Games maps, remember?
yeah. And then like what he's done with Hypixel, like the server has obviously been like always revolutionary. And it's like, without saying too much about it, like
He knows shit, chat.
Yeah,
He
do
knows.
you are is this like some NDA shit? Like are you actually about to drop like some bombs
no,
here, or
I'm
are
not
you
gonna
gonna
I'm not gonna drop anything, but
Okay, cuz
like,
like all right, good to
no,
know.
definitely with the Hypixel team, they've always been, from what I know, every dollar that they make, they reinvest. Like they have a huge team and they pay their team really well, way more than people might realize. It's like people, like typical Minecraft players, probably don't understand the amount of work that goes into a server like Hypixel. And then I know that what they're doing with Hytale is like very similar and always has been. Um, yeah,
Well, for sure. I
that's
mean, look at the content that they produce, right? There's no way they can stay relevant as a server unless they're like daily pushing content and like testing it, seeing if it works, finding a new content, like finding new concepts, and just always finding new ways of getting players to either come to their server or stay on their server. Like
mhm.
that's amazing. That's like finding a way of just constantly producing that like desire to come back into play is one of the hardest things to do for anything. Like,
Yeah.
it,
So my concern with Hytale would be what my concern was for their game mode Warlords. Now obviously this is like very much worse, in my opinion, worst case scenario, and I really don't think it'll happen. Like, really don't think it'll happen. But essentially they released the game mode Warlords. I believe it was called Warlords, and what they did was kind of like a pretty common game design mistake, where what happens is you obviously have kind of like your gameplay relatability curve, which is how many players can easily relate to what's happening in the game at that time. And the more a player plays, like the more stuff they unlock that they can relate to, essentially. Where what they did with that game mode is you launched this game mode, and instantly, at the first second of playing, they almost expected you to have the same relatability as a person who has an hour in, right?
sort of like Dota, except
Sort of
except
like Dota. Yeah, a MOBA is kind of inevitably falls under that category. But that's also kind of like what League of Legends did, was kind of took that kind of bar and lowered it. You have a game like Fortnite, and they took that bar and they put it underground.
yeah.
You
There's
know,
no
and
bar. It's like
yeah, like I've had chats with people on the Epic team, and that was very very on purpose, where a
for sure.
lot of really great ideas get brought to the table, from the Reddit and the community and content creators. But what they'll do is they'll be like, what will this new cool kind of idea happen, like result to like the change in where our bar sits. Like a cool idea of, I don't know, changing the way that the building kind of works, right? Like right now, anything that they do to a building that makes it more complicated in terms of how to execute, let's say, kind of like a basic ramp, to make the gameplay a little harder would raise the bar of what typical players can do. So
Right.
my concern with Hytale is that they're going to go into it with that same warlord mentality and release a game that doesn't have a natural kind of curve that makes it very accessible to players. Like
Right.
I don't want to
You're worried
open up
about it being
Hytale.
intimidating.
Yeah, I don't want to open up Hytale and for it to be like, time to make your own adventure. Like, what do you want your world to look like? And what do you want the enemies to
And
look
then
like?
it's like you're playing for 5 hours before you're even playing. You're like,
yeah. And I really, 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 really don't think that'll happen. Like, there's a 99% chance that won't happen. That's just me saying, please don't let that happen.
well, yeah, because it's like a create a character, you know, like it's like a create a character screen. Like that's just like this huge downtime before you're actually playing the game. And I know people that love create a character. They love it. They're like, this is like the best part of the game. And yeah. But like some people like me, I just want to fucking shoot things. I don't care. I don't care what my character looks like.
Here's a good example. So the game designer, the lead game designer behind God of War, who is now picked up by Respawn, I believe, and ended Jedi Fallen Order. I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right on that.
Yeah, fact check me. But this particular, and I've got to find out his name, honestly. So I don't know if chat can provide it, but I'm not going to go like Googling right now. But this game designer very specifically has coined this thing where it's like the bar starts really low. To not spoil anything from Jedi, Fallen Order, to keep to God of War, you start with just like the slash. And you hack and slash your way through enemies, and you do a really good job, right? Like you can kill pretty much any enemy that comes your way. While essentially what happens is this game designer will start introducing enemies that specifically counter your hack and slash move. So if you're going to swing one swing every second, he's going to release a character that can block, and then within that break of seconds hit you, right?
Yeah.
So now you need to go to your skill tree, and you need to learn a new ability that allows you to counter that counter. So hit, break, and then slash a different angle. And now, oh my God, I just learned a new move. So he'll allow you to play with that for probably about 30 minutes, really get to know that tempo, introduce a new enemy that now counters that ability, right?
Yeah.
And it's like this.
The skills master you almost. Like you,
and you really learn this kind of system, and what you're doing is you're raising the bar.
Mhm.
He's doing it for you. The game designer of the game is raising the bar for you, but you feel like you're really lifting it. It's almost like you're doing a bench press, but there's two really, really buff dudes kind of being like, yeah, you can do this, man. And they're lifting it up. And you're like, yeah, I'm lifting it. Yeah. And he's like, well, we're lifting it for you.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. And then by the end of the game, you're like throwing your axe and like jumping and kicking a dude in the head, and you're grabbing the axe with your left hand and then like grabbing the balls of the other guy, and then you're like slicing his head off, and it feels natural because that bar's just been lifted for you and you're like in the mode. So I just hope that Hytale does that. I hope that Hytale introduces it in this, like with Minecraft. It was that beautiful, all you have to do is punch a tree and kill some sheep, make a bed, you're good, right? You're very happy.
Like that's your base. Like start building after that.
Yeah, and then that natural progression is what creates a really good environment for game design. And again, you know, Warlords was released years ago. Again, the Hypixel team is just incredibly talented in pretty much every project they touch. I have no reservations with Hytale. I will 100% be jumping in. I have heard very good things. That's all I'll say.
That's good. Yeah, same. I've heard really good things about this. Whether it's going to be the next big thing, only time will tell. There's really no way to say other than just give it some time. Just wait.
I have a very like uneducated Hytale. So kind of like similar to what you said, Matt, how like you hate the fluff, you hate like making the character like let me just drop in stuff. And similar to your point, how the game like teaches you as you go. Is there any worry to where, like, when they put the game out, instead of, like, them finishing their own game, people who play Hytale inherently are the new beta testers, and you, whoever, will just inherently end up sort of finishing the game for them and giving them their ideas to complete it? Or, like, is it more, we're going to give you about 60%, you guys are going to, you know, you guys make these game modes, you guys do this. Like, are they giving you more of a tool than a game, I guess is the question.
That's really interesting because the thing is they released a trailer for the game like a year ago or something, and they gave it no release date at all. So you don't have any information on when it's going to be released. But from the trailer, you can see that it's like it looks really well done, and like the way that they're doing everything looks super cool with all the customization and stuff. As far as like the single player goes, and as far as like the adventuring and everything, it's still really like not clear whether it's going to be like an MMO, which I mean it's quite possible that it legitimately just might be like a new World of Warcraft where they're just got this huge world that people are playing and doing all these quests, and like they're going to introduce like a new way for you to actually build your own quests, and then you could like do all that sort of stuff. It's like, oh, here's this a sign that just somebody put down. It's literally just a sign. You go, you right click it, and then you're teleported to this new like area that this guy can like this guy created all of this sick stuff for you to go and interact with and provide like some sort of storyline for you, and then he gives you like this item at the end, and then like the more popular ones rise to the surface and like you can vote on it or whatever. Who knows, like I feel like that would be probably the best route for them to go down, or at least just from spitballing, because it's like stuff like that's obviously very hard to do. It would take like a lot of server power to be able to like run that sort of stuff all the time. But I mean, like you could see MMOs do it frequently, where they just have the different servers that people can play on and the different like all that sort of stuff.
There's a lot of cool things you can do with that these days as well. I mean, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, like the multiple server threading is definitely interesting. Like obviously the third server that I released is a super server, so it's all one big server, but we have about 18 micro servers that kind of hold it all together, and you can like seamlessly fly from one server to the next, and you would genuinely never even know that you swapped over. And that is like super fucking hard to do. Like things that people don't even realize is necessary to make that happen.
That's why Master Chief
Right.
Collection originally didn't work. That exact thing.
Yeah,
The original
yeah.
Master Chief Collection on console didn't work. For that
It
exact-
flopped big time. Like nobody could play games. It was as simple as that.
because they tried to make it so you could seamlessly between engine hop servers between different versions of the game, and it wasn't just like, oh, this is Halo 2 skinned to like Halo 4. It's like, no, this is Halo 2 and it feels like 2. Right? This is 3, it is 3. Like they were trying to make it seamless between each one, it just didn't work.
Oh yeah, that was super weird.
It just did not work. That's why I'm glad on PC they're doing it staggered, honestly. They're making sure it works at a time as opposed to
you have like Destiny where there are little micro servers, right? And then like if you leave an area and you load into a new spot, like you might load into this area of the map and no one will be there. And I believe what Destiny will do is say, this player is going into this area, no one's there. Let's instead inject him into an area where there's like 7 other players there. So it makes it feel a little bit more lively.
It like drops you in their instance instead of
exactly, and you won't even know. So like that's where it has a lot of strengths. And then World of Warcraft obviously tried this, and then they reverted it back in Classic because they would have that where you'd be roaming the fields of Thunderbluff or whatever, and this character would appear out of nowhere, and you can kind of talk to them and you can quest with them. But then if you went your separate ways, he was actually on his own server and you were on your own server, and then you would never be on the same server. So your chat, you could never really meet back up again. And then people kind of hated that because it made it feel kind of empty and void, where you want to know that you're on like US East 730 and like this is your house.
Yeah, you know the people that are online, like where someone's gonna be fishing, and like you want to like just plan like an ambush or something. Like
exactly, you're like this is our like we're raiding now, and like you better get in line. And like that, you lost that when they switched out of World of Warcraft Classic. But the problem is that that only really exists if you have active individual servers. There is no save mechanism for your servers.
Right.
If US East 470 is empty, US East 470 is dead. But if US East 470 can merge with US East 475, right, and then you can make them both seem way more active, it can create a more inclusive environment for the players. But then it's kind of like a fake faux interaction. You
They
know?
did that with Final Fantasy 14, if I remember right. Not this recent expansion, but like I think when they took the game down and built it from the ground up, they took a lot of
Yeah,
these
I remember when that.
servers
Yeah.
and they had to merge a lot of them because they were just fucking dead. Like the population was like, all right, we need to consolidate this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, we've
For
had to
sure.
do that. You know, that happens naturally. Like, obviously, the Java edition of Minecraft has slowed down, and in kind of that in that vein, like working on the servers that I work on, like, you know, player counts have decreased, and as such, like we used to have 18 different planets on Cosmic PvP, and now we have 5. And like obviously there's a couple factors to that where and this is a little off topic, but you know, it's still interesting.
Fuck
Those
it.
18
I'm genuinely
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no idea how this works.
For
so.
sure,
Well,
for sure.
I mean,
That's a
Minecraft.
huge decrease. That's like
the 18 planets themselves could only hold about 200 players or 150 players, right? And through optimization, now each planet can hold about 600 or 550, right?
Mhm.
So you're literally like 3 to 4 timesing your capacity per planet
Mhm.
and decreasing your player base. So you have to remove planets, and like, how do you do that? Right.
right,
So
right, because like players invest in those planets, right? Like
Yep.
they
Things
have all
there,
their
there's
bases,
structures
and
there.
that's so interesting. Like that's such a crazy problem to have. Like,
So
how
what-
did you
what-
remedy that?
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the bathroom because I've like I don't know, I've had 3 of these during
Yeah.
the start of I've been chugging water. I don't know, I'm so thirsty.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's
You're
like
good, man.
And,
No
and
worries.
you're gonna try and figure it out. You have 30 seconds.
All right.
What would you do?
I mean-
the only guess I have.
So let's
based
get
on,
like a third guest, another guest. What do you think? Like we just get like
Oh
another.
yeah, let's get him the
let's,
fuck out of
let's see.
here.
Let's see if
we'll
we can
never
get
know.
Zach on. You know, like this is like what's
My-
going on? Is it-
My only guess is he can make the current like planets that are occupied that he's planning on keeping larger, and like the XY coordinates will basically be, instead of like, 1000 X 1000 Y overriding somebody else's right coordinates with their own shit and them losing it, they would basically plop it onto the new space that exists, and it would just gain new XY coordinates on the new planet.
I think
That's
that a really interesting but somewhat like kind of toxic maybe way of doing it would sort of be like turn it into a competition. You know, be like, okay, we're gonna have exactly like we're gonna have an arena where the top fighters and the top players of each planet come in, and then they represent their own planet, and then it's like it turns into this huge deal and like a super epic.
This is an episode of Futurama. you're
Yeah,
describing
like
right
some
now.
crazy shit, like snow, like what like Rick and Morty, like the you know what I'm talking about with the talent show where it's like show me what you got,
show
like
me
that sort,
what you
like that sort of
got.
thing, and then you just have the top players from each planet come on, and then they start fighting each other in like some crazy PvP thing, and then the last 5, the top 5 who win, their planets get to live, and then like all the other 13 planets they die, and like the people can have like 24 hours to get their shit and pack it and leave, you know, like that would be like insane, right?
So he
Like,
says galactic battle like of the death for the planet's rights of land. I said make the
Oh,
planet.
I heard. I just muted
Oh,
my mic.
okay,
I had my
okay.
head. Yeah,
My
go
bad. That-
kick him out. Go get Zach.
it's just like get him out of there.
So yeah, Jack, I like your answer. I understand your thought process behind it. I think that what you're picturing these servers to be these planes of land that actually matter, when in reality, when we do reset them every couple of months to kind of keep the competition fresh, like it's a new map entirely. So the actual physicality of the map isn't important.
Okay.
So I think that was your confusion, but I could see where your mindset is on that.
Because I've seen stuff with that in other games before, like in similar cases. I just didn't know in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that lends to my tournament idea even better, because it's innocuous, because since they're getting
Matt,
reset
like,
anyways.
we do what your idea is pretty much.
Really, that's sick.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
So
All of you beta fucks are losing your bases. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean they lose their base regardless when the map resets. So yeah, it was a huge debate with the team internally on how to do it well. Like, man, we debated for weeks about this shit, like if not longer, because we knew we were gonna have to do it. And we were like, Well, what do we
How do we explain? What's the PR explanation
Yeah.
for this too? Like,
And like regardless, it had to happen, and players wanted it to happen. They were like, we want more competition. You know, we only have 100 or 200 people per planet. We want 400. We're like, yeah, we can do 400, but we have 18, 20 planets. Someone's got to die. You know, so
Yeah.
we
Pluto's
started,
no longer a planet, boys.
we started pulling out the pistol and just like cut. Yeah,
You got the Death Star out, just.
So my first idea was to have like a battle royale kind of like throw all the
Fight
top.
for your
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
planet.
Straight
And we
up.
were like, that's so awful of an idea, but we kind of liked the premise, and then so we came up with something called war. So you initiate war between two planets, and like they can be within different cycles, and we would actually kind of balance the war based on their current economy, and we would add these like quests that each planet has to compete in. So something like mining blocks would give you these shards. Making money, selling stuff would give you shards, and very very heavily like team focused things where we'd want the enemies of each planet to kind of come together. So the more enemies and competition that you used to have on this planet come together to kind of put all their resources together, the more shards you get, and then your planet would win inevitably in this kind of battle. So
The enemy of my enemy is
It's
losing
like,
their fucking.
no, that's super cool. That's like
yeah. We made like enemies become friends, or if they couldn't become friends, then their planet would die. So it was like face
Exactly.
extinction, or man up and be friends. It was pretty cool.
Rainbow
That's
Sparkles in
sick.
chat says,
That's
so
sick.
basically X points to Gryffindor.
Yeah, actually, like
That's
straight
a funny
up.
way to do it.
Um,
That makes sense.
yeah, it worked out really well. We still do it to this day, every once in a while, and essentially if you were on planet A and you fought planet B, right, and planet B won, whatever you had on planet A would actually transfer over to B.
Right. Yeah. No, you wouldn't lose anything. I
Yeah,
wouldn't,
and then if B fought C, and C won, everything from A and B would transfer to C. So now you
Right.
have these mega planets that essentially have consumed like 6 minor planets.
Oh yeah.
It's like everyone's Pac-Man, but everyone's also a blue ghost.
Yeah,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for
Like-
sure.
yeah. You have,
it's-
and they fight, and then like someone else will go like, now we're fighting.
Right.
It's like
Fight
it's like
him,
it's
and
like
then it's
Agario.
we need like a roadmap of like what planet has consumed what planet, and at what point was the genesis of the planet and the extinction. I feel like that'd be super cool.
Who's the apex planet from what you know of the history?
Like the one that's consumed the most.
Oh yeah, like the big time winner, like the guy who's like you don't fuck with. If you're going to war with this, you might as well give up. Like that's like everyone's scared of this planet.
I mean, all the major ones now are the power players. They're all really competitive. We're talking just factions here. Yeah, I think Spirit has consumed the most. I think Spirit's actually consumed like 6 planets, and those 6 planets have consumed probably 1 planet each. So I feel like Spirit is the culmination of like 13 planets. Just because the OG4 never really went to war because it would have been such a stomp.
Right.
So like lava, I mean, ice is gone because lava be ice, but lava, ice, jungle, alien were like the main 4, and then like Spirit was kind of like the odd 5th, and that Spirit just kind of fought all the, like these are like the 4 older brothers, and then you had like the younger siblings that just fought.
He had to like prove himself, like.
Yeah, and then Spirit reigned victorious. Yeah, and then one other one, Dungeon Planet is a fucking machine. Dungeon Planet has a group of people, and there was one time where we actually thought so we do this thing where we actually like will kind of calculate and estimate which planet will win so that we can get builds going for the planet that we think will win, and we're usually right. Dungeon proved us wrong many times. We're like, there's no way Dungeon can win.
Like mathematically, it makes no sense.
It's like there's more players on this other planet. They have more money, and then somehow Dungeon just like would consistently win these wars and then just consume planets. So yeah, Dungeon wild, man.
It's just
You love that underdog story. Like that's amazing.
Dude,
just hearing about that.
You could
That's
see it if you
sweet.
like load it up in the client, but yeah, it's kind of like freeze my computer. I feel it. But yeah, dungeon straight cleaning. But yeah, the whole war mechanic was and server was a really cool problem to solve, and then we started development on Sky, which took a really long time. The concept itself was concepted like 3 years ago, I think, and then we had someone working on it, just an incredible developer. We still work with. Some people might know him, and he actually got a job working in esports, and he works in esports now, which is awesome. And then also does Minecraft stuff on the side. So we had to put that on hold, and then we restarted the development. And the whole concept was that it's one big server, so we can have our peak was I think like 7,000 players on like one server. So like the auction house was like 7,000 players. The public chat was like 7,000 players. It was like total mayhem, complete pandemonium. Yeah.
That's wicked. That's wicked. And that's just basically what you the concept is Sky. It's not like the Sky planet or anything. The Sky, it's sort of like what the cloud would be, sort of, but like it's the cloud, it's the Sky. So it's essentially just all your servers are weaved together. Oh, it's gonna be Sky Block server. Oh.
It is, yeah. So it's been a Skyblock server. Right now we're on map 4, so it's the 4th map that we've released. Our 5th one's coming out. I can't say.
All right, sick. All right, I like it.
I don't know if there's any. Yeah, I still gotta be.
There's gonna be a 5th one, boys. You heard it here
everyone knows it's gonna be a 5th, but I can't say when it is. Maybe, I could. Maybe we'll see. But yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, so it's been around for a while. It's been really cool, but it's super challenging to have so many players on one particular server. Like this map has been dead, quote unquote, because we've been doing a lot of like rebalance changes and no YouTubers promoting it, and we had about like 600 to 1,000 players on, which just even that, like 1,000 players in an economy at all times is
probably
tough
pretty
to
taxing.
manage. Yeah. The math on it, the economics on it is really, really complicated, let alone like 6,000 players, because like 6,000 players online at one time, like a Twitch stream, it's like 60,000 unique players every day. So you have 60,000 players engaging in an economy, buying and selling, finding exploits, doing everything, and then you gotta like keep tabs on that,
duplicating, like
no dupes. Nah.
Okay, that's good.
No, well, we've had a couple, but we crush them really quick.
Nice, that's good.
Or try to. Yeah.
How do you guys find those duplicates? Like, is it just something that's like sketchy? I just
missed my mouth. I straight up just missed my mouth.
Wow.
You probably could see that. I don't know.
Fucking degenerate over here. Where's Zach? He wouldn't miss his mouth.
Sorry, Matt. What'd you say? I was too busy missing my mouth.
How do you discover who's duping? Is it like just an influx on your server? Like it's like you see a graph of like stuff that's like selling, and then there's just like a dot over here of this guy.
I imagine they have something set up to ping it when it's very clear when it's happening.
Like I don't want to see. The thing is, I don't want to like expose like the security of all this stuff. So I'm just gonna literally shut my mouth right now because like
no.
It doesn't need to be public knowledge.
It's totally fine. It's pretty obvious. We have like a very strict kind of UUID system for the Minecraft stuff. Literally every block, I don't know if every block has a UUID and a fingerprint. So literally every single entity in Minecraft, we know who touched it, when they touched it, and how they got it.
Yeah. And suddenly, if somebody gets about 64 thumbs of the same thumb, then
or more specifically, if 100 people get something and they get something from the same thumb, we're like, yo.
Yeah, red flags.
Who did thumb
is all over this.
Yeah, who did thumb? And then we can then we'll get like particular flags, or even if it's just like, maybe there's a lag that happens, and like for some reason, like the same UUID is like recognized in the system, like it's a flag. Yeah. And then it gets checked, and then so on and so forth. But then essentially, we can also kind of see if like who's been duping, and they'll just get banned. Essentially.
Oh yeah. No.
So get most of them, like we catch like, I would say 99% of dupes. So right now, like the community knows if they find one, they just tell us. Because if you just tell us, you get a cookie, and if you don't tell us, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
That's a good system.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
you're not
For sure.
snitches. You're just keeping your ability to play the game. So
Yeah, we're gonna find you, man. Like that's the.
And what's gonna happen? There's none of this snitches get stitches sort of thing. Like there's no
They do get
like,
stitches.
it's like an actual code
the
of honor.
snitches,
Like,
the guys who get the cookies end up regretting it, huh? Like they come out.
Nah, they're alright, dude. Yeah, everyone knows you don't. There's two things you don't fuck with. It's duping and the anti-cheat. Anti-cheats
That's good. That's good shit.
It's tough stuff, man. That stuff's been in development for like 5 years. People don't realize like the amount of money and time that's gone into.
For sure. Like
I can't even imagine.
Like exactly. Like that's gotta be insane. Like I couldn't possibly I can't possibly imagine organizing all of that. Like just like spearheading that, being the guy in charge of everything, calling the shots. I could never do that. Like that's like such a wild concept for me. Like I'm like I'm not like the general. I feel like I'm the frontline infantry who just goes in and fucks shit up.
Frontline infantry.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's tough.
There's so many moving parts to that, like so many discussions with different people, so many things of like where money should be, where resources should be, and it's just like a giant like cascading graph. I feel like play phone tag, but you manage the server tag, like you know what I mean. Like I feel like there's so many parts to keep that running that like that's awesome, like straight up.
I think it's a really cool thing. Like obviously the Minecraft server kind of game is something I'm super passionate about, and that's why I'm super excited for Hytale. Like I know the genesis of Hytale as a game was when, I mean, don't quote me on this, obviously.
Quote him,
clip it, fucking clip it,
boys.
Man, the genesis of Hytale was when Mojang decided to get all big dick energy and change their end users license agreement to kind of micromanage servers and make it not illegal, but illegal in their eyes. You would be breaking their end users license agreement if you didn't adhere to these very distinct rules, like you're not allowed to sell things on a store. You're not allowed to sell things that give benefit. You're not allowed to sell capes as cosmetics because that's something that they do. A long laundry list of things. And, Hypixel has been very vocal in their support for Mojang. They've always been very, very, very vocal, but also a little more quietly vocal, but vocal nonetheless of their disapproval of that system, because what it did was, I mean, Jack, what you were just mentioning is that there's spearheading something like that is really exciting. There's a lot of moving parts, and there were some young kids, out of high school, passionate developers, learning these skills and building these crazy cool economies and game modes and experiencing that kind of business environment. You had these crazy cool servers with incredibly innovative ideas popping up, and they just went,
yep, shut the door right on their face.
Gone.
Like it's crazy. Like
gone.
No support for it whatsoever. Like it really, if you take a look at it from like a perspective of a corporation, they really wanted to like keep it to themselves, like it sort of looked like a greedy move from them. And
if you're buying anything, you're buying it from us.
Exactly.
That's licensed
like
through our channels.
It just put a really bad taste in people's mouths, and I just think that that's not the way that they wanted to go. And I don't know, like I feel like a lot of that revolved around some of the more predatory servers out there, like the stuff that like no
100%. No, 100%. I completely agree with you, man. They had to crack down on some things. Like there are servers right now that exist that are IP grabbers, right? They'll kind of pretend to be Hypixel. They'll be like hypixel.bet, right? Or hypixel.met. And you connect to they got your IP. They got your IP. They got your Minecraft account. Now they try and exploit you, right?
They hold it hostage, basically.
They hold it hostage. They'll send you an email. They'll try and hack you. They'll DOS you. They'll dox you. Like that exists. That it's an open source, open web, Java based fucking game mode. That shit's gonna happen. You're gonna have black hat hackers coming in hot and heavy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like RuneScape, dude. Like man, like that's what made Minecraft what it is. It's gonna happen. Like you
For
go
sure.
download.
You gotta take the bad
Optifine.
with the good. You gotta take the bad with the good.
60% of links that lead you to Optifine are a fucking virus.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Like, you
everything,
throw that
like-
into a sandbox every time first. Like every texture pack could have a fucking injection.
Yeah,
it's like
insane.
welcome to Minecraft, dude. But you learn.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, like
For
as
sure,
a
for
kid,
sure.
you learn how to not connect to this Minecraft server that's super sketchy and has 3 players online that says they're doing a $10,000 giveaway.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, maybe don't sign into
connect.
that.
Giant red flag.
Yeah, or like selling game mode 1 for $5,000. Like maybe don't
Yeah.
give it to them. You know, like people get their shit hacked and Mojang got all high and mighty and you know, they got all white knight and you know, they thought that it was their job to say, like, their reasoning behind the EULA was that they were getting emails from parents saying that they got scammed on Minecraft servers, and their support email was being flooded by parents that were like, I've been scammed by a Minecraft server. That was the reason why they started it. And I get that, right? Like, you know, it makes sense that they would have to do something, right?
Mhm.
But shutting it down entirely was such a knee-jerk reaction. Like, an insane knee-jerk reaction. So,
I have a
Right.
question.
yeah.
All right, so this is gonna sound like hella stupid. You're gonna be like, that doesn't sound like a question. I feel like you should already know that answer.
Hmm.
Okay. Why exactly is server? It's just capacity then, right? So like having a Minecraft server as opposed to just like, so like back on like console, right? Like you can have like 8 people in a world, right? Is servers strictly for like just like multiplying the capacity to like the nth degree to where in this world, in this instance, like just you can house way more people? Like, is that the main point of having a server? Or is it more just like, do you absolutely need a server, or can you just like press play, invite friend, and like just fuck around? Or is it really just like for capacity's sake? Because I
Well, so
genuinely
that's-
have no idea.
Okay, well, I mean, let's there's a great story here. Absolutely incredible, and people don't talk about it enough.
Mhm.
The genesis of Minecraft servers.
Mhm.
You wanted to play with friends,
Mhm.
right? Us 3, let's play. This is 2012. I make I host it off my computer. I
Which
give you
was
my
not
IP.
easy.
It was not easy,
Mhm.
and you connect, right? And maybe Notch will join. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe Notch will join our
Right.
server.
Because it's all just peer-to-peer at this point, right? That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it would
Mhm.
go through. So Minecraft had a way where you can actually host directly to Minecraft, and people could connect through that IP. You didn't have to do Hamachi.
Okay.
You didn't have to do
Okay.
it local. Like you would actually go through. It had a multiplayer capability.
Mhm.
Now we have a couple more friends, right? Everyone in the podcast channel, like live right now. You want to jump in on our 192.168.2.1 server? Come on in.
Yeah.
Right?
Jesus.
But we get 100 people playing.
Mhm.
My computer it's frying, man. It
Right.
can't handle that pinging, that amount of packets, that information.
Mhm.
So I type a message in chat and I go, hey guys, look, I really like playing Minecraft with you guys. It's been a lot of fun. We slayed the Ender Dragon. It's super cool. You know what? I actually have ready to release a new Ender Dragon. It's just like a little harder, but we're gonna really have to prepare for it. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna need some donations. I need like $1 from everyone, and I can pay for the server hosting because this is expensive. It's like,
Mhm.
man, I'm wasting $50 a month off this shit. So if everyone gives me $1,
Mhm.
we're good. Guess what?
What?
Matt, Jack, Timmy, Jimmy, Bimmy, no one gives $1. No one, because everyone's stingy
Right.
and frugal, and no one wants to give $1. So I go, fuck. Okay, well, 3 people gave me $1. My mom, my dad, and my weird uncle Dave. They all gave me $1 because they're supportive of my server dreams. And I
Mhm.
go, but they don't even play the fucking game. I'm like, how do I get all you stingy bastards to give me some money. All right, Matt.
Like the incentive, basically.
Hey, you want a gold crown, Matt?
Yeah,
you want a gold crown,
oh,
bro?
shit, that sounds good, bro. Yo, I'm down. I'm down.
$5. $5,
Oh,
man.
shit, bro. Yo, I got you. Where's my wallet? Where's my wallet?
There you go. Give me your credit card. Bam, $5. Like, Jack, you need a sharp 6 diamond sword? Bam, $5. Bam. All of a sudden, I'm making $100 a month, and it's costing me $50. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the genesis of servers. So, what can I do to get more money out of you? So now I make an even cooler Ender Dragon. Now I make it so that there's guns in the game. Now I make it so that there's a level up system for your mining and your excavation and your farming.
Yeah.
Now I make it so that you start on a skyblock and you're playing with 6,000 other players, and you have to go ahead and level up all your farming skills, and you got to level up your character, and you got a crazy skill tree, and I'll take $200, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude,
How is that?
Services rendered.
Services rendered.
So like, how is it monetized? Is it like you said $200, right? But say like just me, like, is it a cost per thing, like, or is there a flat fee you can do to participate in the server and get all of the options? Like,
Well, look, listen.
There's
I know I sound like a
if we're
businessman's
talking the
wet dream right
fridge,
now. I genuinely don't know. Like straight up, I don't know.
if we're talking the fridge, all
Right.
right,
The fridge. The Mitch the fridge, right?
that fuck man, he made cash, bro. Like,
Yeah, dude. I remember seeing the list and just everybody's diamond. I'm like,
dude,
what
everyone was
the
diamond,
fuck?
man.
If you spent like anything less than diamond level on the
you
fridge,
sucked.
you never got into the server. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
so
insane.
what Mitch did, and arguably or not arguably on purpose or not, but you know, he had the server listings that you'd have to add to your actual multiplayer tab, so you could see all the 50 to 30 different servers that he had, and they would run Hunger Games, and if you had Diamond, you can click on them and join when it was available to join.
Yeah.
So that's what
there was
Diamond pretty
priorities.
much gave you. Yeah,
You basically bought the fast pass at Disney World.
you bought the fast. Not only the fast pass, you pretty much bought the ticket to get in. Like, realistically, there was so high demand that if you didn't have Diamond, you were not getting in the game.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and then there was like the level above that, which was
what
like
did it cost
VIP
to get?
YouTubers.
What did it cost
and,
to be
like,
diamond?
That was crazy.
$60, $40 maybe 40.
But it was
I
just
forget,
once?
man. I
You
think
pay
it was like
40
a
and you're
one-time
done?
thing.
I think it was a lifetime. Yeah, lifetime. And it was the thing, dude. Like, you know, I'd just play the fridge, dude. Get that diamond. You open up your Minecraft, you scroll through your multiplayer list, which one's available, which one's joinable, bam, diamond, you're in. Hey, look, it's Baka. Wow, in the same game, it's boy Drub. It's worth every penny. I'm so glad I spent $50
For sure,
yeah.
And then you go and
was
you throw the final 1v1 against him. You wind up in a video. You're famous. Look at you, bro. That's sick. Let's go. Yeah, look at him.
What the?
So that was like.
I'm
huge.
learning genuinely so much right now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Never understood the internet.
Oh
that
yeah,
was
man.
that was pioneering stuff back then, and so that was just pay for access. But then, you know, as things kind of progressed and as servers got stronger and hub servers started to exist where you would connect to the fridge, and then by connecting to the fridge, you then could see the games available to you in a Minecraft world. A big one that kind of pioneered that was the Hive.
The Hive, the jolly
by
old
Jolly
Brits. Good old
They
Matt.
did a great job.
Good old
and
Matt
they did
and
make
Will.
similar, but in their head it was pretty clear that, you know, how many servers could you have on a multiplayer list? You could have maybe about 15, but a player would have to go and add each one meticulously, and it was a pain in the ass. If they built a hub that you could connect to 60 servers, right?
Like,
And
this
if
is
they
the
could
gateway.
if they could fill all 60 servers and you still needed Diamond to get into 60 servers, they could triple the revenue. Right?
So it's like, okay, so Diamond gets you. You've played Mario 64, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Diamond gets you Peach's Castle, the hub. Each painting is then a respective server from that point. You need access
Interesting
from
way
there.
to think about it. Yeah. So Mitch would have had a different N64 cartridge for each map, for each painting. Bomb Island and Penguin Land and whatever. What the Hive did was built Peach's Castle and put all the paintings right in front of you. and said
okay.
10 people can go in each painting, and it's pretty much 10 diamonds. It's
Okay.
free. A non-diamond person can get in, but realistically, all hours of the day, 24/7,
Someone's gonna be there. The painting's
10
full.
people are going to
Okay.
be in the painting. So buy diamond,
Okay.
and we'll let you in the painting. And what they found was that Mitch's system, you could really only own 10 cassettes or cartridges. But for
Right.
them, they could have 100 paintings. And if they filled all paintings at all times, they could maximize their profit. And by God, jolly Brit, they did.
Oh man, they made so much money. I actually have no idea what happened to those guys. I remember being really close.
They moved
That's
over
crazy.
to they moved over to the new Minecraft at Windows, Windows 10 edition. They're still rocking and rolling, man. They're still updating and
That's wicked. Those guys
yeah.
have so much talent, honestly. Did I ever
Oh
tell
my
you?
God.
Did I ever tell you what like really like kind of became like what became of me and them? Because remember, like I used to be pretty decent friends with them. Like we started like we didn't start Minecraft. I don't think I was one of the guys who curated it, but I was definitely like the second or third guy on the server. And like they had so many ideas and they were trying to push them all the time. And there was this one moment where my content became a little bit too similar to theirs, and they got really upset at me for over it. And like I don't think I've spoken to Matt since then. And it's really bad too, because I never really like understood what he meant by that. Like I thought we were like over that. Like I didn't think that it was that big of a deal, essentially, which was remember when we were doing like capture the wool and like race for wool and all that stuff, and business was booming for the Minecraft YouTubers.
Yeah, it was
like,
booming, dude.
People were going crazy over this. All of our collaborative projects were just coming together, and everybody was just making so much content all the time. I was like, I need to find a way to like not distance myself from them, but to like sort of break away from the pack in a way that makes me a little bit more unique, because everybody's fighting for viewers no matter what. Everybody's gonna have different perspectives. It's gone to the point where it's not just a voice and a perspective that people are going to, because like it's almost random which one people adhere to and like what people choose. So I was like, okay, I need to make my content objectively better than other people if I want to stand a chance in this rat race. So what happened was I didn't even realize it, but I wanted to edit my videos in like a higher production way, where when people came to my videos, they were like, "Oh wow, this is cool! It's like clipped together, and there's an intro and outro and music and like all this stuff." Like, and the thing is, a lot of it was borrowed from like the content that they made. Yeah, because
100% naturally.
Yeah, because I kind of like I saw them.
It was the
sort of
status quo, right? It was like the expectation.
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
it.
but they were copying, dude. They were copying multiple other people.
Right.
Yeah.
But like
Right.
they looked at like the way that I edited it, and they were like, "You directly took animations that we ourselves created," and like I literally was watching them do a live stream of the way that they edit their videos. And like the way that they keyframe their text to like boost in and out like this. And I took that and I put it in my videos because I was like, shit, it's like a tutorial that they just made for me. That's super cool. And they were mad about it. They were like, you stole our IP. And I'm like, what the fuck is IP? And they're like, intellectual property. And I'm like, what? So this is a court thing now? You guys are going to sue me? Like, what the fuck? And they're like, no, we just think that that's scummy. And I'm like, what do you mean? This content's inspired.
they
They were
were
the first people to ever keyframe text.
I mean, look at where they ended, right?
No,
they
I'm not. See, I'm not beefing with them at all.
No,
I'm just saying they found like a. I don't know, it just felt bad.
looking at where they ended up, like they stepped away from the YouTube scene pretty quickly to run a company, to run a business. Like I think it was, you hear this conversation a lot in YouTube. It's like, is it a passion or is it a business? And some people can do both. For them, it was always a business. I think.
Absolutely.
And so for them, like they saw that as an attack, like on their business.
It might have been a little bit of both, because it was like, if you look at like their demeanors, the way that when they were filming, like they did have a lot of fun doing that. Like they were like,
you have fun with business, man. Of course, you have fun with business.
For sure. But like the content that they were creating,
that would have kind of like checked. They would have been the type of people these days, if they were still doing YouTube, to be like just crawling through the numbers of their stats, like analytics, you know?
For sure.
And like maximizing their upload schedule. That's the passion of it. It's like when you do YouTube, is it like the business is the passion, or is it like a passion of the business? You know what I mean? And it's like, someone like Laserbeam, it's like his business is his passion. But someone like the Jolly Old Brits, the passion would have been the business, right?
Right, like, for sure.
Swap them up and down interchangeably.
Yeah. I remember being in calls with them, like they were discussing like business ideas and like how to do like the next level Hunger Games, where it's essentially where you have the different, not the volunteers. What are they called? Like in the books, tributes. That's it. You have the different tributes, and each of them are like basically like famous people, right? Like people with large followings, a lot of fan base and everything. And they would get the different tributes in the Hunger Games. And then when they filmed them live, they would have it linked to like a website where you would go and you would have the fans who are able to buy like the drops, right? Like you know how in the movies people could buy drops for them and everything, and like it would cost them a lot, but they would get like an item out of it or like some cure or whatever, and they would just talk about that. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, are you guys gonna do that? And like they're like, yeah, probably. And I'm there, and I'm like, okay, cool. But they never ended up doing it. So like,
passion of the business, man. They
just brainstorm stuff. Like,
no, those guys were super talented.
Oh no, they're so
web
smart.
development and editing, content, gameplay. Like they really knew how to push the boundaries. Anyways, the Hive, Jolly Old Brits, good shit.
Yeah, those guys were chill. Those guys were super chill. Like I have no hard feelings against any of them. Like it's legit just I wasn't like contributing to their success, so they just really didn't need to, like, I don't know, like they didn't need to hang out with me anymore, and that's just the way it goes sometimes, man. Like fuck it.
Oh, man.
Like I don't care. Like dude, that's what happens, man. I fell off the radar. I'm a very loyal guy, but like it needs to be, I don't know. I mean, it needs to come with respect. So I don't just blindly follow and expect to be like this guy's lapdog or whatever. Like I need to be treated properly. And if somebody's going to be calling me out for stealing IP, like I'm not comfortable with that, because it's just, it had nothing to do with that. It was all about just, it was about freedom of expression, and I was inspired by their content, and they should see that more of an honor than to get defensive about it, because I thought that was my best content. I really did. And like, so does Mitch. Mitch was like, that was like your best stuff. Back in the day, you were getting more views than anyone else because of what you did there. And I'm like, that's insane. Like,
imitation's the most sincere form of flattery.
It's true. It's true.
Well, good to get that off the chest, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever mentioned that before, actually.
There you go. So yeah, Minecraft servers.
Yeah, Minecraft.
I'm learning a lot, legit, because like,
so like,
it's just like Minecraft's never really quite been for me. Obviously, people made their own games out of it. Clearly, like it's not just build a house, build a farm, kill the Ender Dragon. Like obviously, it became this giant thing where it's like, cool, here's a sandbox. Let's make our own shit.
Yeah, now, well, that's it, right?
Somebody having like a shitty computer growing up and like only having consoles and things being so much more limited when you only have the console version of Minecraft. I never really got to experience that side of it, and saw the glow up, saw the numbers, saw the like influx of all that. So I'm always interested in like that.
Yeah,
era,
I mean, these were
like, how it's happened.
These were the pioneers of that shit, right? Like,
used to ride these babies for miles.
Yeah, they were really popping off. And then you just had more and more like kids, teenagers kind of following suit there and just doing some really cool work. You know, like Hypixel and a lot of the even smaller ones that started coming out and starting getting crazy, right?
Yeah.
And they all followed that kind of system. Anyways, well, that was like the join system, right? That was like if you want to play, you have to buy Diamond, and then essentially what started it was an unreliable. It's funny because to kind of take a real trump out of it. Yeah, it did, definitely. But it wasn't reliable because it's a cool economics of it, right? Because I mean, if you look at like the supply and demand, right? Like they couldn't find that equilibrium because if you have low supply of servers and a high demand of players, then you're aggravating players who can't get in.
Yep, they lose interest, and then you don't have a player anymore.
Exactly. But then, so you don't have players, and then essentially what happens is the servers start not filling up, because you only have diamond players.
And they've already paid,
so not
you're
filling
not
up.
you're not making any money off of them anymore either.
Yeah,
right?
so then the diamond
Right.
players like, why did we buy diamond, right? And then you have new players who then are like, oh, cool, maybe I'll play, and then they come in and it's just like, diamonds who've played a lot, and there's like an unbalance of players, and the
Even
demand isn't quite as
skill-based, like
high. Yeah. So it's an interesting dynamic, and it was never really viable for like a long period of time. So they had to make the switch entirely, and that's where these kind of Hunger Games hub style servers didn't quite fall, kind of handle the test of time in terms of the monetization schedule. While something that's a little bit more competitive, like my servers, that specifically the monetization schedule being kind of get you emotionally invested into the game mode and have you fight competitively for a top spot. And to really fight competitively is to spend, a reasonable amount, or hopefully unreasonable amount of money,
Right.
to keep up with us by buying diamond swords and, kits that enable you to progress farther and faster. That stands the test of time, and it has. Like, we hit our 2000th day a week ago on Cosmic PvP.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the tweet. I saw the
2,000.
tweet, man. That was hype. That's
Yeah.
super sick. That's like fucking
6
7 years or something. Like
6, 7, yeah.
Yeah, 6.5, almost 7. I think.
6 years. That's wicked, man. That's awesome. And
I never would have thought about the angle of like once everyone's diamond, it almost doesn't matter. I never
Yeah.
would have thought about that. Like it's kind of like in Incredibles when he's like, if everyone's super, nobody's super.
You know
It's
what?
like,
You know what he should have done at that point? He should have released like Obsidian, and then that would have just been like, oh shit, like.
So creep, right? So creep is super interesting, and it's super important for the longevity of a game, right? And this goes into like Fortnite and Dota, right? And how to keep players interested, and
Creep. What is creep? What is
like
creep?
power
like
creep.
power
like-
creep, and skill creep. It's this, you always want
the average
the-
skill cap of your player base, basically.
Yeah,
Is
like
everyone
okay.
if this is
better?
your end goal.
Yeah.
If this is your end goal, I like to call it creep because you don't want this wave.
Mhm.
You want,
Creeps up on you. Everyone
know?
steadily gets better.
Yeah.
and it's like you can't quite get there. And it's quite difficult. People typically think they want the end, but they never really do. So if the end is diamond and you get into a Hunger Games server, and realistically, knowing that you're diamond and that other people who can't afford a rank can't get into the game, but you can, that's your peak for those Hunger Games servers. That's your end. I'm in the games with Mitch, Bayesian Canadian.
Mhm.
I can join when I want. I'm diamond and you're not. That's the end, and that gets old. There is nothing
True.
past that.
Right.
So you always need to create a past that environment.
Yeah.
Always
yeah.
need to up it. You always need to add. You always need to have that end game that the player can't obtain right away.
That's why Dota is like literally like
I
the
was
apex of any game
about
for
to
that,
ask.
because it's just there's no end. There's no end. The end is your fucking no-tail. That's literally the end. You just won TI twice in a row. You will never achieve that. It's impossible. And then he did it. He's like, everybody said no one could do it, and he just went
boy.
and did it. I was there in TI 8 when I saw them like defeat like it was it New B? No, New B was TI 7. LGD. They defeated LGD in the grand finals, and it's like the TI curse is broken. It's not like 1-1 every war. It's not Western Eastern years every year. Like it's just swapping. And like, oh my god, this is crazy. And they came out
And
a
then
lower
bam.
bracket. They were the last seeded team. Nobody saw it coming. It was a fluke, and then it all just ends with that, where it's just like, yeah, it was a fluke. Yeah, it's just fucking. They got carried by Thompson or whatever, or Anna, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like it's work. It's Seb. It's who cares? Like it's Seb. Like of course, No Tail, the guy who's won 5 majors. Let's not give him any credit. There's no way they're gonna be able to do it again. Boom.
How
come
could
right
they,
back, crush the game, fucking destroy everybody in TI9 through winners bracket all the way to the top. Like it was so disgusting seeing
I know, it
them
was
just
so much fun, dude. There was
dismantle
nothing anyone
Team
could do,
Liquid.
man.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
They lost game 1 and they came back and just 3-0'd them, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, but creep in Dota is definitely different. I would actually title it horizontal creep and not vertical creep, and I think that the two are kind of different. And the vertical creep in Dota would be that kind of that timeline of start as a noob and end as Notail, and I don't think that's the realistic creep.
No.
Yeah,
it's like you start as a noob and end at like ancient, you know.
But even then, that vertical creep is so aggressive that it's almost unobtainable even for like the average player. I would say Dota has a horizontal creep and that's why seasons are really big for like League of Legends, and they started doing that in Dota is because you get this it's kind of the same creep, but it's in like a different timeline. So it's like different heroes and different map, but your thing is still like, I'm gonna get more wins than losses. Like that's
right.
my
like you build your own creep, you know, like you're setting goals for yourself and you want to achieve them.
If you're playing Dota, you're playing a MOBA and you just lose that kind of and if you lose that motivation to just become better in that meta, then you're not going to play. But then I guarantee you the next meta that comes out, like you're going to try it and you're going to see if it's for you, right?
Yeah.
That's why they have this like reoccurring player base that will come back after a new update and be like, I'm going to try this creep. I'm going to try to see if I can...
They revert changes constantly. All of the old like mechanics that they take out and replace with new ones, they just in a couple years bring them back. It's the weirdest thing. Like you look at Darkseer.
Different timelines, man. Yeah.
It's so cool. Like you look at Darkseer now, how they changed his spell Vacuum. Vacuum used to be this crazy broken spell, and then they nerfed it into the ground. They made it such a long cooldown, and they made it not interact with like invulnerable heroes.
Jack, come back. You had a question you want to ask. What's up?
Oh no, you're fine. I was trolling. I was just trying to get chat to the ha-has. I was listening.
But like
my main it was about Dota though. Once you finish.
Shoot.
Oh, okay. So, what is Challenger in Dota? Like, what's the top tier? Immortal.
Yeah, that's when you hit the leaderboards. Professional is like top 10. Like you
so there's a top 10 rank in Dota.
Yes, you have a completely different. You have a different symbol because you can have the immortal symbol, and then top 100 is like it's like the immortal symbol but red, and then the top 10 symbol is like the immortal symbol red and diamond, and it's like. I have Arteezy on my friends list, and he's just won constantly.
Do you have to play like decay games to keep it? Do you decay if you don't play?
No, you never decay. There's no decay. You have your MMR, and that's it. You don't.
My MMR's
lose
been the same for.
Yeah, there's no decay. You earned that MMR. You fucking earned it, man. Like,
so there's no like. So when you win, there's the equivalent of like LP from League, I take it, or
it's called MMR, which is matchmaking rating. It's
like
ELO. It's like ELO in chess, where if you defeat somebody who's on the same skill level as you, you'll get an average amount of MMR, and then if you defeat somebody who's lower skill level than you, you'll get less MMR, and if you lose to somebody who's lower skill level than you, you lose a lot of MMR. So in that sense, the most MMR I've ever won in a game was 94.
Wow, fuck.
It was so I was playing with my mid laner at the time.
You usually get 8.
Yeah, well, no, you usually get 25. You usually get 25.
I was gonna say league is like high teens, mid 20s.
It's like chess, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of chess.
What happened was the average MMR between the two teams was 1,000 less. So our team was like average 4K, their team was average 5K. And the two people that were bringing up the average on our team were me and my mid laner. We were both 6K, and we were playing with like 3K teammates, and like they're all scrubs, and like they're bad. So we literally have to 2v5 them, and we fucking did it. We turtled so hard. I played Treant Protector, and like I farmed their backline for like 20 minutes while I'm just regenning the towers while he's sitting there with OD, just constantly pushing them off.
Now you're saying words and literally 95% of the people don't know what the words you're saying. I know the words.
There's
no one knows 5%.
What I'm trying to translate it. Like Dota comes in. It's like, what is that in League? I can follow.
Because the thing is, there's like no such thing as turtling in League. In League, it's just how do you fucking rotate as 5 heroes, and then when you finally get into a clash, whoever wins is the game. Like that's just the game.
Yes and no. It's gotten better about that. But
in Dota, you sit on the high ground and you abuse every fucking advantage you can get. Dota
has a lot of abuse mechanics that.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
You can pull creep waves in ways that like you just. Like you can literally pull creep waves across the entire map and create some sort of like mega lane, and then
Yep.
you just and like you have like eight creep waves in one lane. They're just like
fucking piling in this army, and then you could go in through the other lane, and if they don't see this army coming in, they could just get thrown because of it. And like it's just so sick. All of this.
You
stuff.
guys can deny the enemy players from farming by killing your own creeps, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Like.
That's why I couldn't play League because of that. But
it just made laning so fucking boring. Like it sucked to lane in League. It's like
Super
you just sit there trading last hits until somebody decides to overextend, and that was it. That was the whole laning stage. And then sometimes you got ganked by the jungle, and it's like fuck, you know. There's no creep aggro. There's no creep aggro. There's no couriers bringing item. There's no item timings. There's no denies. There's no pulling. There's no rotations. There's no TP rotations. There's no smoke ganks. It's
like an absurd
boring.
amount of consumables too in Dota, which give it like a lot of. You never really know what your enemy will do. You know, he's got like a usually in recent Dota. I mean, recent, like probably about 2 years, I would say, Matt. Right? Like you have a lot of these like quick consumables for like quick
mangoes.
mana, quick health,
mangoes, fairy fires.
Yeah.
Salves. People buy salves like crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's one of the
trees, wands,
biggest changes?
And it's like you never know when someone's just going to like pop it to really. But then if they pop it, it costs them money. So it's just the right time for them to pop it. So you have to like know that you're pushing them to the point where they might pop it, in which you could then engage or disengage at that point. And if you can disengage, then maybe they won't be able to translate that into a kill. And now you've made them waste their salve, or you've made them waste their manga, or waste their salve. So now it's like you've hurt their eco, and now the next time you go, they won't have it, or they have to buy it again and then use their courier. But if they use their courier to kind of bring these items over to them, now this carrier of items is now disengaged from their more important heroes that need their items. So now there's a battle
like a true mid laner. Thank you, Rob.
The micro in the items of Dota is definitely insane. Like the way it's been explained to me is just like, and again, no one fucking get the pitchforks out. Just relax. I'm just talking about what I've heard, how it's been explained to me. But the way it's been explained to me is just like, League's team fights are mechanical, but the actual items and the laning isn't. But the macro of Dota outweighs that, if that makes sense. Like the way you can carry the game via just, like you said, controlling the map and like wandering around and being the correct place can carry you so much further in Dota than it could carrying a team fight in League.
Well, it's like there's micro spacings in every game, and like especially in Dota, the spells are so powerful. If you get clipped by something, just by a slow, just by like an attack speed slow or something, you're fucked, because your blink dagger's on cooldown now, and it's just over. And it's like a game of inches. You don't have that. You don't have like that instant disengage. You don't get instantly initiated on by like a Malphite, and he just goes and blows you up. And it's like, I guess that's just the way the game goes. You know, it's like if you get sprayed by Jakiro's like dual breath from fog, you could just die off of that, because like if you don't BKB and start TPing, you're gonna get chain stunned, and then somebody's just gonna come in and destroy you, and then all of a sudden, if you don't have buyback, they're just gonna.
The penalty is way worse, big time.
Is Dota really snowballing? Like, is it hard to come back?
No, it's not, because it's both, dude. It's both. It's incredibly snowballing, and if you never give up and you always like play to win, and you're always looking for as many advantages as you can get, and you could like knock that stone out of the cliff and start an avalanche, you can win the game just off of some crazy comeback mechanic. Because like the cap for comeback in League is like 500 gold for a kill or something, right?
No, they changed that. It's 1,000.
I know.
It's 1,000. Okay. Well, in Dota it never ends. You could get 3,000 gold from a kill. Like it's
because there's shutdown gold now. Like the more powerful somebody you take down.
Yeah.
The more powerful somebody you kill, the more gold you
get. It was at 500 for the longest time, and like in Dota that never had that. If somebody on their team is 13-0 or even like 29-0. Let's be real. Like some people who are Smurfs, and then he just goes and dies in fountain because he's fountain diving or whatever. Whoever got that kill has 1700 gold now. He has a 1700 gold now, and he can like finish an item, and then that's just more item timings for them.
Yeah. One thing that's nice about the way League did it too is, say somebody's that fed, it's not like you kill them, take 1,000, they're back at 300 or whatever. Like they still have some sort of bounty, and it just keeps wearing down the more they die.
Oh, that's yeah. Okay, that's cool. I actually
you can keep getting, like, if it's just, if they were 20-0, you kill them once, and now all of a sudden, all 20-1, shit, they're so much worse now. Like, no, they're still worth a fuck ton of gold.
Well, it's
800 the next time.
It's the same with Dota because it's based off your net worth. It's based off of the difference of net worth between your hero and theirs. So it's not the score that they have; it's the net worth. So if your net worth is 10,000 less than theirs, you're gonna get a certain multiplier added to the bounty of your kill. So that, and it's the net worth of yourself plus your teammates. So it's like if you see the net worth graphs between your team and theirs, and they're 10,000 gold ahead of you. Even if you kill their supports who's worth nothing, you're still going to get a large bounty for that. Like every kill is important. Comebacks happen all the time. Like that's exactly how OG won TI8 and probably how they won TI9 too, because how would they have the confidence to go into the drafts if they would probably disband if they lost TI8, you know? Like who knows? You watch the comebacks in those games, it was fucking crazy. Like it was so unreal to see that in person. Like
So I mean that's that like I mean, I guess a little off topic, but that's the creep, right?
Yeah.
Oh, going all the way back.
Let's bring all the way back to the creep. Yeah, so
all the way back.
The power creep, skill creep.
Power
creep,
right.
And then they like there's that like that the horizontal creep of different new metas and new things to kind of conquer. And then, but even, Dota also threw in like a lot of vertical creeps as well, of kind of saying like, now you have to master these individual heroes and you can obtain cosmetics if you master those. So it gives more kind of short-term vertical goals that are very kind of like on the, same path as that, something that like,
right. It's like you're proud of the skill that you've attained on this hero. So you want to
Fortnite
you want to represent that.
Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite did that with like its quest system and stuff. And oh, hey. Yeah. No, that's cool. It's cool. Sorry, my fam's here. Yeah. So, I mean,
is that your brother?
That creep, yeah, actually.
Cool. Yo, you want to get him on the podcast for
he's
fun?
boring.
No? All right. That's cool.
No, okay, bye. That's okay.
Jason. No.
Jason.
League kind of has that too. They have a skin you can only get if you hit at least gold. They give you. Otherwise, it's lost and you can't buy it.
Yeah,
purely have to work for it.
That would be kind of like, relatively similar system, I suppose. But then it's more so directed directly. It's connected directly with the actual progression of your rank. While this would actually be just completely different, like completing challenges. Like I said, like in Fortnite, like completing quests. Like you don't even have to win the game. Right. That's
it reminds me of the old way you got armor in Halo 3.
Well, that'd be like
360 achievements. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So like that adds another dynamic of like that creep, and then you can always
it's the problem with Dota though.
Add new armor, add new quests, add new challenges for players to do to keep them engaged, to keep them playing, and like to keep on kind of buying.
The problem with the creep in Dota, I think, is Smurfs, to be completely honest. I think that's the biggest issue. Because when you have a new player coming in and like they just play a game and they're like, okay, this is Dota, this could be cool. And then all of a sudden, like there's this dude who's just popping off on the other team and he's, like I said, he's getting 30 kills. He doesn't have a single death. He's destroying everybody. They're like, this is what Dota is? I don't want to play this.
Do you still have to level to a certain point to play ranked on a new account?
Yeah, you need 100 hours in the game to get to play ranked, dude.
That's crazy. It's so much.
Really?
And a phone number. And a phone number. Because they're really
trying to stop smurfing.
Oh
too.
Yeah, because dude, people made livings off of boosting accounts. Like it's crazy. They go because it's a free game, right? So you make a new account, you load it up. You're good at Tinker. You're good at Meepo. You never fucking lose. Your win rate is 90%. You're in the 6K bracket within a couple weeks. You sell that account for like a couple $100 or whatever. Like for some people, that's good. Like for some, like that's.
I got a question for you guys. I got like a couple more minutes and I gotta dip. I'm so tired.
Shoot, dude.
Do you
Yo,
guys
I'm
do,
glad that you like reached for so long. Like that was awesome, man. Like,
yeah. Do you guys do like a little Q&A or something with Twitch chat at all usually, or?
I have brought this up to Matt before.
yeah, we have. We've done that.
Done it a little bit. We've done a little bit, and then we've also set it up to where like pretty much whatever amount people want to dono, they can interrupt us and like we can talk about what they donate to. But
Right, we don't mention that a lot though. I don't. It's
we don't. Yeah, we don't really put that out.
It's like,
I don't think you
by the
mentioned
way,
that once,
yeah.
We probably
unless it's,
should have
like
done
on
that.
the.
Well, I like just creating the content. Like as far as like the other
true.
production goes, like I can't be asked to
Oh,
remember
but yeah,
to
I
do
see
that
that.
stuff.
It's on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I do see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if anyone
I'm
has.
just really bad at promoting things.
I'm
like,
gonna
sorry.
set up Nightbot to time it so it'll
Yeah,
come up. Like,
hell
1 to 12.
yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I don't want
Let's
to.
go,
Because I don't want to
Jack.
be
Because it's
intrusive.
not.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not. Let's do. If you guys want any questions, you could do 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna dip at 11:15 and go to bed.
Boom. 5
Yeah.
minutes. Chat.
Go
Now's
for
your
it,
chance.
chat.
Go. Hit it. Hit
Chocolate milk. I've seen this in the chat a couple times. What happened with chocolate
it.
milk?
Oh yeah. What happened with chocolate milk? What
When
did
you
I take
drank
all your?
chocolate milk out of my goddamn wine glass, dude, you finished. I came out and there was a quarter of the chocolate milk carton left, and I loved my chocolate milk, and there you are swirling this the not a little bit. You filled the wine glass to the top, and then finished my chocolate milk, and then proceeded to drink the entire thing. It was really awful,
Dude, and then that picture, that just iconic
Yeah.
picture of just the.
I think it's
And
like
I was
on my
drinking-
Instagram, like way back in the day.
I had it as my profile picture for the longest time on Twitter.
All right, next.
Hey Rob. So before you go, if I wanted to join the Cosmic team, what would I have to do?
What part of the Cosmic team, man?
Yeah, that's a very general question. It's like,
Is it like
are you
show you
looking for
work?
a job? Do you wanna
Usually, what my answer would be that if you're asking the question, you're not fit to be on the Cosmic team.
Yikes! Single yike, actually.
Fair
My
enough.
bad.
Fair enough.
That, I
Usually-
mean, like we have obviously we have like within the hundreds of helpers and moderators, if not more, on all 3 servers, and the process, the hiring process. I mean, hiring it's volunteer, but it is rigorous, man.
Mhm.
Like we only do interviews every once in a while. Usually, for mod, you're there for quite a bit, but what does happen is you start off as helper, then you get mod, then you'll probably get band team. After band team, then you'll probably get junior admin or somewhere around the band team. From junior admin, from normal admin, senior admin, and then in any of the admin positions, it is actually paid. Sometimes even below that. So it usually does start with helper, but development.
Yeah, that's a big ask, man. That's a big ask.
Start as helper, dude. Like, yeah, start as helper. We have very few developers that work on our Cosmic team, specifically to help secure our code. We
I like this question. I really like this question. Rob, do you still talk to Taffy from back in the day?
Hell yeah. Yeah, he still streams all the time, so I'll stop by every once in a while and DM, twirl a slide into the DMs every once.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Dude, he was iconic in like all the old videos back in the day, man. Like legit.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we had a pretty serious falling out, but anger and disappointment for people is a really hard emotion to carry.
Oh, dude, you know who you're talking to?
Yeah.
I'm the master of anger. I just
We got over your emotions with jolly old Brits, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
know?
Yo, you
Aaron
just gotta,
all
you
out,
gotta
right?
hash it out. You gotta hash it out.
you 100% should get Ryan on the podcast. He would be hands down the best guest.
I'm down. I'm super down, dude. That sounds awesome.
But he also has like 2 children and a family, so
well, he knows when we're streaming, so
Yeah.
it's set in stone basically for our airtime. It's gonna be really, really hard for us to like basically justify changing it for an entire changing the entire schedule for a guest. And if it really has to come down to it, I could see what we can do, just because like
honestly, I don't really care. So.
Yeah, no, it's like fine, like right, like we're just it's just
You do you, man.
it's super chill. Like if we can get Ryan on, that'd be sick. The old Taftsters.
Do you think Minecraft stores influence the model/viability of the Fortnite store and the way their store is set up?
No.
Not at all.
No, absolutely not. They have a completely different way of monetizing their product. Simple as that.
Roblox.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about Roblox.
Inspired the Minecraft store. Fortnite, I think was. I mean, I guess like the V-Bucks, maybe, sure.
But like Microsoft Points did that beforehand. Like
yeah, but I would say, I mean, it's like, I mean, no, because I really don't think that
Dave
Epic
and
is
Buster's
looking.
That like Dave and Buster's take your money and here's our money.
Mobile games did that. I think it's.
I have a weird question. Whatever happened to your old outro with the dancing flowers? I don't know.
Matt, why weren't you ever in the pack? Oh, I just slept in a couple times and missed a meeting or two, and then that was it.
Matt was the I don't think would have. I think we probably talked about it once or twice, but
dude, I don't have exactly. I don't have the business sense for that. I never did it as like
everyone in that channel is like, it was business.
Yeah, exactly. Straight up. Like they like when I was doing YouTube, it was because it was for fun. And like it was a hobby of mine that randomly became lucrative, and they wanted to turn it into something way bigger, and I just didn't have that site. So it's
the outro, I think I moved computers and I lost the source file for it, and then I kind of was just like, fuck it. I still speak to the guy who made the song. I actually just DM'd him the other day because he released some new music. It's actually banger. His name is Ojbox.
Yo, you gotta link that,
dude. Yeah, his new dude.
Push it.
Absolute banger new track. I don't know. I opened up my DMs on Twitter and it's just like to get things about Cosmic, and like I now have lost all my. There it is, Ojbox.
Well,
honestly,
I just want to say thanks so much for coming onto the podcast, Rob. This has been a lot of fun, honestly. This was super cool, honestly. And all I can say is really good luck on finding a job. And
what is this? What is this meme? I can't. Some people have asked this probably like every 20 minutes in the chat. I don't know what it means.
It's such an old meme, dude. It's just Rob Adob Flob.
Yeah, so Preston's like uncle. Preston's like one of Preston's uncle's name was Rob, and like someone in his family.
This is the origin. Okay, I didn't know it was this. Okay, this is
he was like always unemployed or some shit, and like someone in Preston's family like Rob Adob Bob can't get a job or something, and then Preston said that to me once, and I was like, what the hell? And then it stuck. Yeah,
and that's it. Hard. That's all it took.
It stuck so hard. Holy shit! Fuck,
holy shit.
The song was Bluebird by Ojbox. Yeah.
All right, Jack.
I opened up the Twitch chat, so just to make sure. Yeah.
I think it's time to. I think it's time to let everyone go. And Jack,
this man needs to sleep.
Yeah, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Straight.
Wait, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off before I started.
No. I was just saying. I just said I'm going to sleep. That's all.
This man is a sleepy man. We've already borrowed him for enough time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chat. Can I call you chat? That is it for episode. We're going to say 4 of the podcast, of the 777 podcast. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for all the new follows, any donos that came in, for hanging out for about 2 hours?
Yeah, man.
We solid 2 hours. A bit under, but like, we definitely made like good time, like very good time.
Matt, do we have a guest lined up for next week, or is it a smorgasbord or a surprise?
I don't have a guest for next week.
You could have just said a surprise and just talked out your ass and made it fun.
Man, I'm just gonna dude, I'm not fucking gonna play anything up if I'm not if I ain't honest, I ain't nothing.
I tried chat. I respect that.
Don't you guys fucking miss a week. I'll be so pissed. Seriously.
Every week.
Thanks,
yeah,
Rob.
I don't want to see a shit. Maybe I'm gonna give you guys leeway up until episode 25. Okay? 25 weeks in a row. Don't fuck up.
Yeah, we got
every goddamn week.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter. You'll see it in the Discords. You'll see it.
Discords.
You'll see it everywhere. All right, same time every week.
Following
YouTube. Mm-hmm.
YouTube as well goes up every.
Daddy Rob gonna be fucking pissed, man.
You don't want to piss off this guy.
Hell no. All right, thank you all for showing up. We're gonna peace out, Matt.
Yep. Have a good one.
Shut it down.
Peace out.